Hey guys, it's Carl Brown here from GuitarLessons365.com. Today I'm going to show you how to play my instrumental arrangement of The Show Must Go On by Queen. So in this one we're going to take a look at all of the parts of the song up through the first guitar solo. So the first thing we're going to tackle is the intro and the first verse, and it sounds like this. Alright, so I'm just adding a few volume swells here in the intro, this little keyboard intro. I thought it was kind of fun. So I have it on the neck pickup for that. And I'm in standard tuning. And we're going to be just grabbing the 11th fret on the G string. I'm sorry, I'm actually going to start on the 7th fret on the G string. And then I just pick the note with the volume off. And then slowly roll the volume in. And then I bring it back down to go and pick the next note, the 11th fret. And I do a slow half step bend there of the 11th fret while I'm bringing the volume back from 0, just back up. Now I have a lesson on my other channel about these volume swells and how to practice them, so you might want to check that out. So a little bend there, then a volume swell here on the 9th fret. And then I do another half step bend at the 6th fret there. Then a volume swell on 4, then 3, and back to 4. So that's just a little intro. They're just doing volume swells on notes on the G string, basically all I'm doing. All right, and then we get to the actual first verse, and the first phrase sounds like this. So it's just between, we're still on the G string, 7 to 6, 7 to 6, back to 7. And then I like to do a lot of bends here because you're trying to emulate a vocal quality. So then I do a half step bend between 6 and 7. Take it again, release, and then do the same thing, a whole step bend this time at the 4th fret on the G string. So it is. All right, then the second phrase looks like this. So that, as a quick little pickup note here at the 4th fret on the D string, and then it's back between 7 and 6 on the G. And then I do this. I go 6, 7, 9, whole step bend. And now this next thing is a little tricky. You might not see a lot of players that have done this, but you're going to do a whole step bend and then add on that bent string your pinky at the 1 fret higher and then come back down to the non-bent note. So you got to bend up and then play that same string. So it's a way of adding a half step to a note that you've already bent. But it requires a little bit of a stretch over with that pinky, so it's kind of awkward. If you can't do that, you might want to just continue and do another half step bend, add another half step bend to that note. So we have this. Now, I actually don't do that little technique on the next phrase, which looks like this. All right, so what I did there was when I did that extra half step without fingering it, I actually just bent it up and just continued to bend. add another half step, then release the whole thing. And then pick 9 and go 7, 8. 7 to 8 on the B string twice. Then another bend there at the 9th fret on the G. 9, 7, 6, and then shift back here and pull off 6 to 4. So we have this. All right, so we're still continuing now with the second half of the verse with the next phrase. All right, so that's still between 6 and 7 there on the G string. And then I do this little move, 6, 7, 6, over to a whole step bend on the 9th fret of the D string. Release, and then there's a quick slide down to the 4th fret there. All right, and then we're back to between 6 and 7 there again. And then now we do this, and that's 7, 9 on the G string, bend, and then add that half step back down to the normal 9th fret with the vibrato on it. Next phrase kind of extends the vocal melody a little higher here. That would be the end of the first verse. So we have a bend here. You can bend it, the 8th fret there on the B string, or slide up to the 10th fret. Then pick it again, just without the bend. And then it's a quick half step bend and release at the 7th fret on the B. Pull off a 5. So, and then it's kind of the same ending. But of the first half of the verse, but instead of ending with this, we end it like this, which is just 9, 6, 4 on the G string. All right, now this is what the chorus sounds like. All right, so the chorus is a little bit more simple of a vocal melody. So I'm adding a couple of notes here and there just to kind of fill out the sound. But the first phrase sounds like this. All right, so that's just a bend, a whole step bend there at the 10th fret on the B string. Pick it a couple times as this bend, and then do it again. Down to the 7th fret. And then this is the note that I'm going to add just to kind of fill up the space a little bit. It's a whole step bend of the 9th fret on the G string. Release, pull off the 7, back to 9. So we have this. And then you go back to the actual vocal melody again. It's a bend there at the 10th fret again. It's the same thing, bending again. But this time, bringing it down to 8th fret instead of 7th. And then he actually does this vocal melody, which he just kind of does a half step. Well, he's not. He's doing it. He's singing it, but I'm playing it as an 11th fret half step to on the G string. Bend and release, and then bend it back up and just let it sustain. And then we have this next phrase. All right, so that's just between 11 and 12 here, back and forth on the G string. Then again. Then bend up a whole step. Then 12, 11, 9, 7th fret, bend and release. Then slide down to 4. And then we're going to end the first chorus with, that's just a whole step, a half step bend there at the 6th fret. Release. And another one here, whole step at the 4th fret. All right, coming up next is the second verse, and it sounds like this. All right, so we've had a key change here, but for the most part, it's the same vocal melody and just going to be moved up 2 frets on the guitar. So there's going to be a lot of similar licks that we played before, so we can get through it a little quicker. But here's the first phrase. All right, so that's just, instead of doing between 6 and 7, we're up a whole step now. So it's going between 9 and 8. And then 9, 8, and then bending now at the 6th fret. And then we kind of continue the same way, just everything 2 frets higher. So except for that very end, that little ending there, is the exact same thing. So just 2 frets higher than was in the first verse. So this ending to this basically first half of the second verse is 11, 8, 6. Now then he does a quick little vocal run, and what you're going to do is slide up to 8, hammer 9, 11, and then slide up to 13. All right, and then we continue with the next phrase, kind of the second half of the second verse. That's the same as the first time you played it. Now this right here is a little different. So he's setting up this ending. So that little lick right there, that's a quick little, really just kind of emphasizing the 9th fret here on the G string, over to the 11th fret on the D, and then a whole step bend, and then grab the 9th fret on the G, 9th fret on the B string, and then back down to the 9th fret there on the G. And then we go into this phrase. All right, so that's similar to the going into the first chorus, I guess. But that's here. Half step in the 13th fret, and then go 13, 14, back and forth a little bit, and then again. Whole step bend, pick 13 twice, and 11 twice, and then go down to 9. Bend there at the 9th, down to the 6th. And then there's actually a little guitar lick in there, which you're sliding 11 to 9 on the G. And then that takes us to the second chorus, which is very similar to the first, and it sounds like this. All right, so it's very similar to the first one. So we're back in the original key. All right, so that little ending lick there, he once again he's building that dynamics with the vocals and the melody. So he does that little thing at the end of. So that's a bend. You're gonna bend for the 12th fret there, up on a step and a half. So it sounds like the 15th fret. If you just want to do it as a slide, you can do that too. Down to 10 on the B, to 12 on the G, 14, 16. Just kind of like. All right, and then we're back down again. Kind of the same ending as the first chorus. But here we're going to leave here from when we do this bend at the 6th fret, instead of going like we did the first chorus, that's when Brian May's guitar solo starts. So the guitar solo sounds like this. All right, so this is going to be the last section that we learn in this first part 1 video, and we're going to pick up where we left off in the next one. So this solo here is going to start with an oblique bend. So that's bending the 9th fret on the G string while you're playing the 10th fret on the B string at the same time. So you got to leave that 10th fret there. And then he has this little ascending lick, looks like this. All right, so that's up here in the 14th position here. So you're gonna slide into the 16th fret on the D string to 14 on the G, then play 16, 14, down to 16 on the D, then back to 14 on the G string. So we have this. Then you're going to go through those notes again a little bit quicker. So here it is. All right. Then you're going to play 14, 15 on the B. Then do a quick little hammer-on pull-off between 14 and 15. So we have this so far. All right, from there, you're back to 16 on the G. Then you go straight up, 14, 15, 17 on the B, then the same thing on the high E. And then bend that 17th fret up a whole step. All right, now he has more frets than I do on my guitar, so I'm going to have to compromise a little bit here, but he probably actually plays it like this on this, but later on in the outro solo he goes a little bit higher. So you'll see what I mean here. But we played 19 and 21 on the high E string, then a half step bend on that 21, and then again. Then 21, 19, 21. And then do a little trill there. And then so you're just gonna be going between. Then you go back between 17 and 19 there. So it's kind of one of those licks that he's kind of just messing between those two note groups. And he's going to end it there at the 17th fret there on the high E string. And then he does a little slide in it, and then he does a bunch of unison bends going down. And they look like this. So that's starting a unison bend. You're going to hold the 15th fret on the high E string. And then while you hold that and pick that, you're going to play the 18th fret on the B string and bend that 18th fret up till it matches the pitch of the note on the high E string. And then you're going to continue doing that down. I'm going to call out the fret that the first finger is at the whole way down. So it's 15th fret there. Then keep that same shape and that same technique down to the 14th. Then 12. 10, 9, then 7, 6, and then on the recording, the original recording, he ends it with at the 5th fret, but from there I actually go into the bridge melody. So instead of playing that last unison bend, if you don't play along with the recording, you can just play along with them. So it looks like this. And if you want to go finish it out, you can. All right, so in part 2, we're going to pick up where we left off here with the bridge section, and then we'll take care of all the cool outro chorus where he really goes, does some really impassioned vocal work and melody work, and there's an outro solo as well. So I'll see you there.